All right, guys, so sorry I'm not there today, but hopefully the homework on the absolute value equations went pretty well. And remember, we wrote all of those as or statements. There were two answers and two, so you put an or in between them. Okay, so day 2 today, 6-4 day 2, everybody should have those notes going. We're now still solving absolute values, but this time we're going back to inequalities. So equations were the equal sign, and inequalities, remember, these are our alligator symbols, okay? And we've done a lot with those recently. So, as a quick review, the absolute value is still a distance, right? It's the distance a number is from 0 on the number line. And so we're going to look at some different ways that this shows up on our number line when we use these inequalities. So we're going to start right here. And if I would read that, that says the absolute value of x is less than c, right there. Now, c is just an arbitrary number. It's like some distance. It's like 5, but mathematicians always want to just give a blank number. It could work for anything. So if you go all the way over to the part over here where it says the graph, and you notice that on this number line, we have a c and we have a negative c. So we can assume that like 0 is in the middle of that, which basically means, right, I go c units to the right is the positive value, but that's a distance of c. And c units to the left is also a distance of c. So if I were to put that on number line, what this says here is that the absolute value of x, or the distance, is less than c units. Well, that simply means that it's under c units. So my graph is going to have an open circle on the c and the negative c, and we're going to graph everything in between. Because if I were to say, right, that this distance is smaller than c units, if I go over here, that's more than c units away. If you were walking this distance, you'd have to pass c to get to this new number. So that doesn't work, okay? Now, doesn't that sort of also look like a sandwich? Because that's the graph of a sandwich that we've been talking about. So another way to write that, or what we say this as an equivalent form, is I can say that x is less than c, and, remember sandwich uses the word and, x is also greater than negative c. So that is true for my picture, okay? They all go together. So now take a look at the second one. That says the absolute value of x is less than or equal to c. So the only difference in that is my inequality sign. This is an open circle, and this is going to be a closed circle. But this is still saying that my distance would be less than or equal to c, smaller than c, and also x is going to be greater than or equal to negative c. And again, we're assuming that, right, the c and negative c, they're the same units away from 0. So my picture of this is just going to be that closed circle. We're going to shade in between. There's my sandwich. Okay, so now in order to remember that can be confusing, okay? So we've come up with this sort of silly way to remember it. So here's my hint on how you remember that these are and statements. If I pronounce that, we usually say less than. Well, what if I say it's less than? So we're just pronouncing it funny, right? Instead of less than, we say less than, and that makes the and, it reminds me that it's going to look like this, and the graph of an and statement is always between those two values. It's a sandwich, right? And if I asked you to show me that with your arms, you would put your arms across each other on top of each other, right? All right, So anything with a less than is an and. Now, difference here. This one I'm saying x, absolute value of x is greater than c. So if I was thinking about that again as my distance from 0, I'm telling you here that my distance has to be bigger than c. So I can't have any of these values in between 0 and c. I have to start past c. So this area has a distance greater than c. Or if I walked the other way on that number line, I'd have to go negative c far to be that far away, and I would go in this direction. What does that look like, guys? Oars of a boat. So this is going to be an or, and I could write that as x is greater than c, or x is less than negative c. Make sense? Okay, that's describing my picture. So we're should be able to go kind of both ways here. So in the second one, what's the only difference? Should be a closed circle, right? So I could write this first. I could say, well, that means that x must be greater than or equal to c, or x can be less than or equal to negative c. All right, so the only change in my picture here, 0 is still in the middle, but now c could be included. So I have a closed circle on c and a closed circle on negative c. All right, so again, that picture, right, if I asked you to show me those with your arms, you'd put your arms out on the side, you'd say that's oars of a boat. Anytime that we have a greater, it means or. So here's again a silly way to remember it. When I pronounce that, usually we would say that is greater. Well, we're going to say great or. So when I pronounce those symbols, it really means great or. And that graph of an or statement looks like oars of a boat, right? Those are things we already know. So basically, yesterday, everything we did was an or because it was an equal sign. And every equal sign with an absolute value gives me an or. But with an inequality, it makes a difference if my symbol is a less than or if it's a great or. All right? And so to do this, we're going to decide. That's what we're going to do first. So we're going to decide and or. There it is again. Remember where we said that? And or. Okay, we're going to decide if it's an and or an or, and we're going to do that by looking at the symbol, at the alligator sign. Then we're going to write the statement, which means that we're actually going to write like this piece of it. We're going to write down what that could be. And I'll show you kind of the shortcut. If you recognize what actually happened for each one of these is we took that, whatever was inside the absolute value sign, and we said that could be less than. We could just write it without changing anything. Or the other thing we did was we changed the alligator sign and we made it negative at the end. Okay, so that happened every single time. Change this, make it negative. Change this, make it negative. Change this, make it negative. So every time we do this, that's the order we're going to do it in. And then, once we do that, then we're going to solve for x. Okay. Oh, and can't forget the fun stuff. We're going to graph our answer, okay? All right. So same rules apply as before, where if I have my absolute value and it's all by itself, it's ready to go. So when I read that, that says the absolute value of x plus 7 is greater than 6. So my first question, is that an and or an or? If I was standing in front of you, I'd make you show me with your arms. What is it? Or, because that says great or. So that means I'm going to write my statement with an or in the middle. And so to write my statement, the first one I do is just write down exactly what it says. X plus 7 is greater than 6. Because I just take this, excuse me, take what's inside that absolute value, and I write it down, and I copy it exactly. Okay, or the opposite of that would be X plus 7, and I'm going to change my inequality sign. I'm going to flip that the other way, and then I'm going to change that to a -6. So I flip both of those things, and now I have two inequalities to solve. These are pretty easy ones to solve, right? I'm going to get x alone, so this first one I'm going to subtract a 7. So that says x is greater than -1. That's part of my answer. Or, when I subtract a 7 on this one, x is less than -13. So this is my answer. Just like before, we have to have that and or that or. And then we're going to put those numbers on my number line. So careful, both of these numbers are negative. Which one's smaller? -13 is smaller, so that has to go to the left. And then I'm going to have that -1 to the right of that. If you want to have 0 on here, that's still going to be to the right of that. But when I graph this one, remember it should look like oars of a boat. So x is greater than -1 is an open circle on -1, and I shade that one to the right. And x is less than -13 is an open circle on -13, and I shade to the left. Good. Hopefully that makes sense. So we decided it was an or because of the sign. We wrote down our two statements with the or in the middle. We solved each one of those for x, and then we graphed it. Good. All right, next example. Last example, actually. What's different on number 2? Hopefully you're telling me that the absolute value isn't alone. So this has the same rules as before, where if my absolute value sign isn't alone, I need to make it alone. So the first thing I have to do is get rid of this 5. It says -5, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add 5. And anytime I'm working with an absolute value, guys, that supersedes, that takes precedence over any ands or ors or anything else. I have to make it all by itself first. So this really says the absolute value of 2x plus 1 is now less than or equal to 15. All right, now I can make my decision. Is this an and or is this an or? Hopefully you're looking at this symbol right there. When we pronounce that, we say less than. So this is an and. All right, so I'm going to put an and in the middle, and then I'm going to rewrite my two inequalities. So the first inequality just stays exactly how it started. 2x plus 1, that value could be less than or equal to 15. And when I write my second one, I start with that 2x plus 1, and now I change my sign. So that's going to be greater than or equal to, good, did you say -15? So I change both of those things. Okay, then I'm going to solve those. So when I solve, first step, I'm going to take away that 1, good. 2x is less than or equal to 14. I divide by 2, so x is now less than or equal to 7. That's part of my answer, and we also know when I solve this next one, when I take away a 1 this time, I get 2x is greater than or equal to -16. When I divide both sides by 2, x is greater than or equal to -8. Good. So that is my solution, and now I'm going to graph that. And again, I could write this if I wanted to as a sandwich, right? I could put those two things together, and I'll do that after we graph, just to kind of show you, okay? So the numbers I have to have on my number line are going to be -8 and +7. So -8 is certainly to the left. I might put my 0 in the middle there and put a 7 on the right. Because this is and, remember these are supposed to overlap. And so when I think of x being less than or equal to 7, that's a closed circle on my 7. It's going to be going that direction, less than. And my x is greater than or equal to -8, that's a closed circle on my 8, and that's going to be going to the right. So those overlap right in the middle. Does that make sense? Okay. And again, I said we could write this as a sandwich. If I start by writing x is less than or equal to 7, remember our rule? Our rule is I'm going to put the other number on the other side, and I'm going to keep the alligator facing the same way. So this -8 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 7 is very much what we graphed right there. And I got that just by putting those down and putting that x in the middle. So maybe that makes a little bit more sense for you. All right, so that's it. So I want you to work on the homework with your partners. I'll post an answer key as well. You can work with partners if you want. You can work on your own if you want. But remember all the steps we have to take. Decide if it's an and or an or. Rewrite it into those statements. Solve it and graph it. Okay, I hope to see you tomorrow.